Can we try number 13? So can you all see that? I don't know if that's very big, huh? Let me make it a little bigger for you. 7 minus 6x is 7y. 7 minus 6x is 7y, and minus 7x plus 6y. Here, let me put them side by side. That might be easier. Yeah, let's try it again. 7 minus 6x is 7y. Like that. And I'll put over here, what is it, minus 7x plus 6y equals 12. Like that. Okay. So we got to get y alone. So I will divide by 7, right? But when you divide, you got to go like all the way across, huh? Do all three whenever we divide. Remember that? Whenever we divide, it's all three like that. And this cancels. And so we get y equals 1 minus 6 sevenths x. Good so far?
Yes.
Manuel thinks it's good. Anybody else think it's good?
Yeah.
So far, so good. So I got y alone in that one by dividing through by 7. So what's that one's slope?
6 minus 6 7.
Yeah, good. It's whatever fraction is next. And it's good you included the negative there, because that's his negative sign, isn't it? So whenever a sign is in front of somebody, that's their baby, right? You never forget your baby, right? Like that. I told you that I forgot my 5th baby and lost her 3 times. Have I told that story? No, yeah. So you're not supposed to forget your baby. I remember by the time you've had 5 kids, you feel like you've got this figured out. I know. I never thought I'd have 5 kids. We just had one, and that seemed to be working out good. So we had another one, and about every 3 years, and pretty soon we had 5 kids. It's kind of crazy. But by the time we had our 5th, I was like, oh, we got this. Coming home from the hospital, I always pick up my wife from the hospital, obviously, and we came home, and we always have lunch before it was like our routine, that little husband-wife lunch before we go home to the wild group. And we get to the restaurant, jump out of the car, start walking in. My wife smiles at me and says, so should we just grab Abigail, or should we just leave her in the van? What do you think? I'm like, oh, forgetting my baby. So you never forget your baby. All right. And we lost her. I've done the typical, you lose your child. Exactly. So let's add 7x to both sides like that. Right? Boom, that's gone. And so 6y is 7x plus 12, like that. Is that good? And then how do we finish solving for y? Divide, huh? We always divide. Last step's always divide. Was that first step okay? So I'm just adding. I'm trying to get y alone. Does that make sense what I'm thinking there? Trying to get y alone, so I've got to get rid of everything that's with y. Right? 6y, 7x. I've got to get rid of that minus 7x. So we add 7x to both sides, and then we divide through by 6. Boom, like that. And we get y equals 7 6x plus 2. And so we got y alone, so that's always the first step, right? Get y alone. So we got y alone for both of them. What's the slope of that one? 7 6. So slope is 7 6. So we have the slopes there and there for the 2 different equations. It's making sense? So, what's the story?
Reciprocal.
Yeah, they're upside down and they're opposite sign, right? This one's negative, this one's positive, they're upside down. They are perpendicular, aren't they? Those two are for sure perpendicular. Perpendicular. Is that making sense? Just get that y alone. We good? All right, I'll move on if you're okay. First thing, can we find the slope between those points? how do we find the slope between those points?
With the
Yeah, you remember that formula?
M
y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Like that. And remember what all those little pieces are? This is like the x1, y1, x2, y2. It just means first points, x and y value, and second points, x and y value, like that. Like that. So okay, so we use this formula. We're gonna put all four numbers in there. Gonna have the minus sign. Remember, it's got the minus signs top and bottom from the formula. And then, can you plug in the four numbers there? Plug in those four numbers and get the slope. So y2, which is 0, minus y1, which is negative 7. See how we got the double negative there? Because there's the subtraction symbols in the red from the formula, and then y1 is also negative, so double negative is going to be positive, huh? So watch out that you get that part right. And then on the bottom, x2 minus x1, again, double negative thing, huh? So going to be positive. So that's going to be just positive 7 over positive 1, which is better known as just 7. We don't leave ones in the bottom. I mean, unless we're trying to actually, do something on a picture, on a graph, then we would need to see that 1. But as far as like a final answer, you never leave ones on the bottom. It's just considered unsimplified. You just get rid of it. 1 goes into 7 times. So it's just 7. Now, what kind of weird questions are they asking? They're saying, find the slope of a line that is parallel to this one. So if this line has a slope of 7, what would parallel to that be? Same thing. 7. Another 7. Right? It's good because parallel always means slopes are equal. Huh. Now, and then they also say perpendicular. So what would the slope be that is perpendicular to this slope?
That would be 1/7 minus.
Minus 1/7. Excellent. Because if we flipped it upside down and changed the sign, like everything's opposite, huh? Like upside down and opposite sign, everything's opposite. Are we good with all that? We're just having us play around with these slope things. Good. Questions? All right. You're okay? They're saying find the pitch of that roof. So it's number 16 here. Pitch of the roof, which is another name for slope. Pitch is just slope. The roofers call it the pitch. The pitch, like how steep a roof is. So what we're figuring out is steepness, right? This is a measure of steepness. That's what slope is. So how would we figure out the steepness of this roof? The pitch, the slope of that roof. Yeah. So we've given the formula in different ways, right? I've said that it's you've seen it's y2 minus y1. Slope is also rise over run, huh? Right, rise over run is slope. Yeah. So that's going to be, what's the rise? 16 over the run, 20. 16 over 20. And then we can reduce that fraction. Right? We always reduce fractions when we can, right? So just divide by 4, divide by 4, and 4/5 is the slope or the pitch of that roof. What does that mean? That means anytime you go over 5 feet, you go up 4. Over 5, up 4. Over 5, up 4. It just keeps marching off in that ratio. Is that making sense? So notice if you go over 5, it's up 4. Over 5, up 4. Over 5, up 4. Over 5, up 4. That's the steepness of that roof, right? Because this is run, this is over, and this is rise, this is up. So if you go over 5, up 4, you just keep doing that. You're marching along the roof. Every time you go over 5 feet, you go up 4 feet to be right along the edge of that roof. That's steepness. One more. Okay. So the grade of the road is its slope written as a percent. So it's the same thing. It's slope. We call it grade. Grade. So what is the grade of that road? What is the grade? So how do we do it?
We divide
Huh?
rise over.
It's rise over run again, huh? Grade is the same as slope. It's rise over run. You guys been to, I was talking about Pismo Beach. You guys been to Pismo Beach area? Probably, almost all of you have, I assume. Right? Do you know as you just come into that San Luis Obispo area, you come up that really steep hill, and then you drop into the San Luis Obispo Valley. You know what I went to Cal Poly. That's where I got my degrees. So I was there for 5 years. You know what all the students at Cal Poly call that super steep road just before you drop into the San Luis Obispo Valley? They call it the grade. You see the double entendre meaning because you're trying to get your grades at Cal Poly, and they call that's nicknamed the grade. All the students call it the grade coming into Cal Poly. So, yes. I still remember that my first semester at Cal Poly, I remember the first day, I went away to Cal Poly with my buddy. We did junior college for 3 years. I think I told you the first day, right? I was junior college for 3 years, and me and my buddy got into Cal Poly, and we went there together, engineering. I remember the first day of class, we sat in our first class, first day, it was a lab. And I don't know if you know what to expect about labs. You never do lab the first week, right? You never do lab. We sat down the first week, first day, lab, sat there, and the engineering teacher went, all right, you guys got your lab books? We're going to do a lab. And we're like, oh, no. Like all of us were like, no, we don't have a lab book. It's the first day of class. And he's like, what? Well, then get out of here. Go over to the bookstore and buy your lab book and get back here. You got to get this thing finished. I remember my friend Dan and I were like, this place is crazy. They expect us to work hard here. Anyway, that was my experience, my first day. I remember leaving there at the end of my first year, and they played on the radio as we left, and it was a request song from all the Cal Poly students to all the Cal Poly teachers. We were leaving. It was the end of the first school year. They had tortured us for 9 months, and we were leaving and going back home for the summer. And it said, from all the Cal Poly, the radio guy said, this is from all the Cal Poly students to all the Cal Poly teachers. And they played that song, hey, teachers, leave us kids alone. We don't need no education. Anyway, thanks for indulging my little college memories of Cal Poly and the grade and all those years. Anyway, they call that the grade. I've got a daughter here now. They call that the grade. So I'm getting old. So anyway, that's called the grade, rise over run. So it's going to be 1 over 14.
Yeah.
And then they want a percentage. So what do we do to turn that into a percentage? Just calculator. Yeah, just take your calculator. Take 1 divided by 14. I have no idea what that is. Somebody got it?
0.71.
0.71. Give me one more, or two more. 0.71.
0.0714.
Oh, 0714. Gotcha. 0.0714. Give me one more. No, that's enough. That's enough. My mistake. Okay, so that's the decimal. How do we turn that? That's the decimal from your calculator, right? Did you all get that in your calculator, okay? Now, how do we turn that into a percentage? They want a percent. Yeah, 2 places, huh? Boom, boom. Goes 2 places when you do that. That's why there's 2 zeros on the percent symbol. I don't know if you've ever stayed up late at night wondering, or you probably already know. The 2 zeros represent 100. It means divide by 100, doesn't it? It's per 100. So it moves 2 places. So it's 7.14%. I think they want it rounded to only 1 place. So it's 7.1%. That would be the grade of that. So when you see the road signs that say, whatever, 10% grade, 8% grade, they're telling you the slope. It's basically rise divided by run. That's what they did when they mark it. That's what civil engineers do when they mark that kind of thing. 7.1%. That is the grade. Does that make sense? So that's what percent symbols mean, right? Like, are you comfortable with percent? Like if I said, hey, at the ball game, the